Okay. The Senate will come to order. Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I had said earlier, one of the challenges in this special session is that things are flying fast and furious. Bills were introduced all day today, and now we're having to respond to them. And we don't have the time to fully see what we're looking at and to be able to assess it properly. Thank you for the time to have a conversation with our members. And based on our ability to talk about this and to talk about where this bill stands and its context in the work we've been doing, I withdraw my objection to Senator Gazelka's motion.
Senator Gazelka.
Mr. President, I remove my roll call request.
Okay, members, the roll call request has been withdrawn. We are on the Gazelka motion to suspend the rules for House File 5. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. We will take a brief pause to gather the votes of the members in alternate locations. Receiving a sufficient number of aye votes, the motion prevails. House File 5 is given its second reading. Members, we are now on House File 5, which is in front of us on the floor. Further discussion on House File 5, Senator Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. President. And members, thank you. Members, Senate File 2 is a collection, or House File 5, Mr. President, is a collection of really important good work over the past 2 months. Work by many members of this body across the aisle. Commissioner Grove and his staff at DEED and the House, many hours have tried to put this bill together. And although I had certainly hoped and pleaded to anyone who would listen that the broad bipartisan bill that passed this body 59-7 during last week of the session would have been passed by the House and signed by the governor, time just ran out on our regular session. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, I won't be joining many of you coming back next year as you face the deficit that faces our state. If there's any hope for a recovery, a fast recovery, members, it will come from our main streets and our small businesses in each of our districts. Entrepreneurs are special people, and they're really uniquely made. The lifestyle is not for the faint of heart. Entrepreneurs are women and men. They come in all shapes and sizes, all different ages, colors, and creeds, and every political perspective. Business owners have extraordinary drive. They have vision. They are problem solvers. They are innovators. They are leaders in our communities. They are job providers. They are resilient, and they are risk takers. As someone who grew up in a small family business and owns one today, it's not an easy path. It's hard, and one that comes with many frustrations and heartaches. Most business owners have invested their entire life savings to start and sustain their businesses. Many have mortgaged their future and that of their family to chase the American dream. Their livelihoods and their dreams in many ways was brought to a halt in March due to the government-ordered shutdown, to absolutely no fault of their own. That American dream quickly shifted into a living nightmare in mid-March. Aside from a complete reopening of their businesses, help in the way of financial assistance to weather the storm of the shutdown is the next best thing that we can hope for and offer them at this time. Last month, we had a chance to get these grant checks out to thousands of small businesses on main streets across Minnesota. And despite that clock running out, today we have a chance to rectify the situation. What's done is done, and there's no time like the present to make things right and get them that help. Members, House File 5 will provide $60 million in COVID money in financial assistance to small businesses across the state. DEED will develop the criteria, the forms, the applications, and reporting requirements for use by the nonprofit entities that will administer and reward the grants. Grant recipients will be chosen by lottery after applications are collected over a period of 10 calendar days. Small businesses may receive grants of up to $10,000. Again, these are grants, members. These aren't loans, these are grants. So this is money directly to the businesses if they meet the eligibility requirements. And those include businesses be located in Minnesota and owned by a permanent resident of Minnesota, have a permanent physical location here in the state. We're in good standing with the Secretary of State and Department of Revenue as of March 1st, 2020, employ 50 or fewer full-time employees, and can demonstrate financial hardship as a result of COVID-19. Members, $30 million will be allocated to Greater Minnesota and $30 million to the 7-county metro area. With a lot of good consultation, with a lot of good conversations, both here on the floor, in committee, Senator Herr, Senator Hayden, Senator Champion, many others talking through this. 30% or $18 million of the statewide allocation must be awarded to micro businesses. This is really important to Main Streets that employ 6 full-time workers or less. 25% or $15 million must be awarded as followed. $10 million for minority-owned businesses, $2.5 million for veteran-owned businesses, and $2.5 million for women-owned businesses. In addition, $2.5 million will be awarded as grants up to $250,000 to operators of permanent indoor retail space and food markets that have an ethnic cultural emphasis. For these ethnic cultural malls, the funds must be used to maintain existing tenants, and at least 50% must be used for rent forgiveness. I want to make sure to thank the incredible nonpartisan staff of the Jobs Committee, Carlin Doyle Fontaine and Casey Mumm, as well as our caucus staff, Andy Eilers and Jonathan Beshe, for all their tireless work to put this together. Again, I want to thank Commissioner Grove and his staff and the House for their advocacy and work on this as well. It wasn't easy. We all had different perspectives on how to get there, but we got here. And I want to thank my co-authors, Senator Housley, Senator Isaacson, and Senator Tomassoni. Everybody had a voice in this. If you weren't a co-author, I heard from many of you, and I thank you for your advocacy. My biggest thanks, I want to thank Chairman Pratt for being a co-author and for his partnership and critical leadership and work to get this to the finish line. Members, a grant of up to $10,000 could very well be the difference of financial survival for many of our businesses. It's the difference between that and locking their doors and walking away forever. We've already heard that. We've already seen that. What I've mentioned previously is just the thought going forward here of driving down our main streets and seeing vacancy after vacancy and knowing we could do something to help that. And today is that time that we can step in and offer a lifeline. These are our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and they need our help. And I thank you again for all you've done to make this happen. And I just ask for a green vote today for our small businesses in Minnesota. Thank you, Mr. President.
Discussion on House File 5, Senator Tomassoni.
Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Anderson. This bill is maybe going to be a key to the survival of many of the small businesses that are reopening and not knowing what the result is going to be, and maybe having to have a lag period before they actually get their clientele back. And this may just be the bridge that they need to survival. And so this is a really, really good bill, and I think it's really important. I also want to thank Senator Pratt and Senator Anderson for including the repayment of the 21st Century Minerals Fund in this bill. It's one of the kind of funds that is special for the Iron Range because it helps with diversification of the economy and also propping up the minerals industry and within the tax relief area. And we've been able to use it to our advantage in several different areas. And the fact that $20 million was loaned from the fund to help with the COVID-19 effort, we're happy to have done that. But the fund does need to be paid back, and so the payback mechanism in here is something that I'm grateful for, and I want to thank you for including us. So thank you all very much. This is a green vote.
Any further discussion on House File 5? Seeing Senator Herr.
Okay.
Senator Herr.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me to say a few words of appreciation of this bill that has returned from the House with much improvement. And when it left the bill, the word that myself and Senator Anderson said together was a word of hope. And hope does come in some rewards. I know that the amount that we appropriate may not be up to the brim of a cup, but it will do to help hundreds and hundreds of small businesses out there, the mom and pop businesses across our state, that finally they receive relief. Relief for veterans-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and our culture mall. And I want to give special thanks to many senators, actually all of you, who contribute much to the tailoring of this bill. And special thanks to the House, too, for pushing very hard and the understanding of the Senate that we have to include everyone in this package. So special thanks to my fellow Senator Bobby Joe Champion, Senator Jeff Hayden, Senator Torres Ray, and Senator Franson, a member of the Posse Caucus, and Senator Deasett, and Senator Isaacson, and Senator Cohen, as well as Senator Hoffman, Senator Abler, and our Finance Chair, Senator Rosen. And special thanks of all is to Senator Anderson, who worked very hard on this bill and communicate with me quite often how we can make it right. And we can't get it move forward without the okay of Senator Pratt, so thank you very much. And I'm also thank the Department of Deed, Commissioner Grove, for being persistent. And they know that it's needed. That's why they push hard, as well as myself and a few legislators at the beginning push hard to be inclusive. And now we are here. So I really appreciate everyone's contribution. So I hope I don't forget anybody, but everybody are part of this. Special thanks to our minority lead, Senator Susan Kent, and also our majority leader, Senator Paul Gazelka. So thank you.
Next on the list, I have Senator Franson.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Anderson and Senator Kent, for making this bill move forward. As we all know, we have a lot of work to do to get out of this COVID pandemic and help support our families and businesses. I myself have a small business of less than 12 people off of Lake Street, actually. So I know that this is just the beginning, and this happened before we had the rest in our state, in our communities, because of George Floyd's killing. So this is not something that's all going to take care of what we need to do in Minnesota. So I just want to pay my respects to the businesses and all the people who are suffering, not just under COVID, but also what we're suffering under the civil unrest because of what we're standing up for in justice. So I want to make that parallel because I think this bill doesn't go far enough because of the need that we have now in our state as of the last few weeks. And I do want the majority to consider a bill that I had sponsored here in the Senate and Representative Aisha Gomez in the House. It's Senate File 4540 that also allows for COVID relief grants for individuals, because we know that a lot of these businesses certainly need to stay open and find resources to stay open, but we also have to take care of their employees. And some of these employees may or may not qualify for unemployment insurance, may or may not qualify for other state and federal programs because they've been specifically excluded from them. So I just want to make sure that people understand that this is just the first step, and given what we've experienced in the last few weeks in Minnesota, it should be a larger sum so we can tackle some of the needs along Lake Street corridor in North Minneapolis, in St. Paul Midway area. All of the areas actually that when I first moved to this state, they were the places of where I lived for many years during grad school. So I understand the community and the needs of us rebuilding together. So let's not work in isolation or in silos. Let's think about how we can enhance this bill, perhaps. I will support it this time around. I definitely think it's necessary and the time needs to happen, and I'm glad. I wish it would have happened at the end of session, but we lost track of our time to get it done. But Minnesotans are expecting us to get it done, to work together, and I have faith in this institution, in the Senate, that we're going to do the right thing for not just businesses, but also for individuals that also need our help and support and cannot be left behind. So I hope people vote green on this bill and also find ways that we can support individuals that are not being supported necessarily directly through this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Members, any further discussion on House File 5 before we go to third reading? The Secretary will give House File 5 its third reading.
House File Number 5, a bill for an act relating to economic development appropriating money for emergency small business grants and loans, reimbursing the Minnesota 21st Century Minerals Fund.
Third reading. Final discussion on the bill. Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, members. I especially want to thank Senator Anderson for his work on this. This was an idea that came up very early that Senator Anderson and Representative Robbins worked on. Quite honestly, we didn't know that it was ever going to make it over the finish line, but glad that it is. As Senator Anderson said, this is so vitally important for our small businesses, our Main Street businesses who have been impacted by the pandemic, who have been forced to shut down or work at much reduced capacity. We talk about these small businesses and they seem very faceless. And I mentioned this in our committee hearing yesterday, but you know, these small businesses are owned by people in our community. They're our friends and neighbors, maybe our family. They have their houses tied to these businesses. They have their entire life savings and probably the life savings of many of their family and friends as well. And now, more than ever, now when we're finally starting to see the dial open, now that these businesses are accruing additional expenses to start to meet the needs of opening up, now is the time for us to get this infusion of cash in there so that they can pay their suppliers, so they can pay their rents, so they can get back to serving the needs of the customers that they have. And Mr. President, I just want to close with a quote that I saw very early in the pandemic as we were talking about essential businesses, because I think it speaks to the passion that I've heard from these owners over the last several months, and that is the only non-essential business isn't the one that you didn't put your heart and soul into. These businesses are essential for the people who own them and for the families that rely on them. And I'm so proud that we were able to reserve a minimum, not a cap, a minimum of 30% of these funds going to businesses, micro businesses of 6 employees or less. A minimum of 25% of the funds, not a cap, a minimum of 25% of the funds going to minority, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. So, members, I hope that this essential bill passed this body 59-7 5 weeks ago, and I hope to see it as an almost unanimous vote here today. Thank you.
Final discussion on the bill. Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. A special shout out to Senator Paul Anderson and Senator Eric Pratt. I think they did amazing work on this. It's a bill that we had to work through with the House and with the governor, which is how it should be done. The fact that we have all these resources available to so many people, that it was divided among metro and rural, I think was important for all of us. That we had some emphasis on minorities and veterans and women's businesses, that we had even a little resource for cultural malls in inner city Minneapolis, St. Paul. It was just a well thought out bill for the small business owners that have suffered as a result of government actions related to COVID-19. This is super important. I want to thank Senator Kent for reconsidering and taking this vote today so that we get this money out. This isn't going to solve all their problems, but for many, it could be that last little thing that got them over the hump. So thank you for everyone that's been involved with this.
Members, we're on final passage of House File 5. Seeing no further discussion, the Secretary will take the roll. Members in the retiring room, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in the retiring room. Members in room 303, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in the President's office, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in room 323, please come to the chamber to vote. Members in room 237, please come to the chamber to vote. And finally, members in room 206, please come to the chamber to vote. I will call on Senator Jasinski to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson Bruce votes yes.
Senator Anderson B. votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Hall votes yes.
Senator Hall votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lang votes yes.
Senator Lang votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carla Nelson votes aye.
Senator Nelson votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Osmic votes aye.
Senator Osmic votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Senjum votes aye.
Senator Senjum votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Johnson votes aye.
Senator Johnson votes aye. I will now call on Senator Kent to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. I report aye for Senator Carlson.
Senator Carlson votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Eaton.
Senator Eaton votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Isaacson.
Senator Isaacson votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Klein.
Senator Klein votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Lane.
Senator Lane votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Latz.
Senator Latz votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Newton.
Senator Newton votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Pappas.
Senator Pappas votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Rest.
Senator Rest votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Sparks.
Senator Sparks votes aye. Senator Kent.
I report aye for Senator Wickland.
Senator Wickland votes aye. All members having voted who have the desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 67 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Remaining under motions and resolutions will revert to the third order of business, messages from the House. The Secretary will read the messages.
Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following House file herewith transmitted. House File Number 37, a bill for an act relating to the environment, providing for certain solid waste management tax exemptions. Mr. President, I have the honor to announce the passage by the House of the following House file herewith transmitted. House File Number 65, a bill for an act relating to public safety, establishing fees for replacement license plates, amending design requirements for enhanced driver's licenses. Patrick D. Murphy, Chief Clerk, House of Representatives.
There's no further action required on those messages. Remaining under motions and resolutions, we'll move to the fourth order of business, first reading of House bills. House File Number 37 and 65 are given their first readings and referred as indicated. Remaining under motions and resolutions, Senator Gazelka.
Mr. President, I move that House File Numbers 37 and 65 be laid on the table.
On that, on that motion, all in favor, say aye. On that motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We will take a brief moment to gather the votes of the members in alternate locations. Receiving a sufficient number of aye votes, the motion prevails. Remaining under motions and resolutions, we'll move to the 13th order of business, announcements of Senate interest without objection. Senator Latz will be excused from 12:30 to 12:45 p.m. Announcements of Senate interest, Senator Hayden.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I rise to have a really tough conversation, or at least a speech about the killing and the murder of Mr. George Floyd. Mr. President and members, at approximately 8:08 on May the 25th, Memorial Day, there was a call to the Cup Foods on 38th in Chicago, in the heart of my district. At about 8:14, two officers, Lane and Cooing, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, walked Mr. Floyd to their squad and tried to put him outside. Mr. Floyd stiffened up and fell to the ground. Mr. Floyd informed the officers that he was not resisting, but he didn't want to get in the back seat because he was claustrophobic. At 8:19, Officer Chavin pulled Floyd out of the squad, and he went to the ground face down while still handcuffed. Officer Kuhn held Floyd's back while Lane restrained his legs and Chavin placed his knee on Floyd's neck. Mr. President, as we know, for the next 8 minutes and 43 seconds, Mr. Chavin did not take his knee off of Mr. Floyd's neck. As a matter of fact, a minute later, Mr. Floyd said, "I can't breathe, please, ma'am." A minute later, a bystander said, "You got him down, man, let him breathe." Mr. Floyd hollered out, "Mama, mama, my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, please, I can't breathe." 8:22, officers call an ambulance, code 2, no red lights or siren. A bystander tells the police his nose is bleeding, look at him. 8:23, Mr. Floyd said, "I can't breathe." 8:25, 5 minutes after, an onlooker started videotaping. Another bystander said, "He's not responsive right now. He's not responsive." At 8:27, the ambulance arrives. Shortly then, a bystander says he's not moving. A young man tries to intervene, but Officer Towle shoves him back. At 8:28, Chavin takes his knee off of Mr. Floyd's neck. At 8:29, he was placed in a stretcher. And as we all know, soon thereafter, after efforts from EMS, Minneapolis Fire, a lot of work being done at Hennepin County Medical Center, Mr. Floyd was pronounced dead. Mr. President, we know that those days, that time, that flash, that moment in time changed everybody's lives. Not just people in Minneapolis, not people in just Minnesota, not even just people in this nation, but people all over the world finally said enough is enough, and that they couldn't believe what their eyes had witnessed, that this heinous and cruel murder happened in front of their eyes. Mr. President, I'd like to tell you that this is the only time that this has happened, that this was a one-time situation from an officer that had just gone bad. However, Mr. President, many of us know in this room, I look at my very good friend of well over 30 years, Senator Champion, and others know that this has happened before. It's happened again and again and again and again. So, Mr. President, I wanted to make sure that members understood how important it was, and as we go through this journey over the next week, that hopefully politics get laid aside. Hopefully we listen to our community. We listen to the bills that are being pushed through in the House. We then come up with our own set of bills, and we go through a very thoughtful process to reform, transform the way that law enforcement happens in Minnesota, because far too often people who look just like me and Senator Champion and Representative Noor and other black men are at the end of a knee, a boot, a bullet. So, Mr. President, I just wanted to make sure that we took a little bit of time in this body today to make ourselves aware of how incredibly important and how much Minnesota, the nation, and this country is watching the work that we do, and that we can lead the way in transforming law enforcement so that we don't see this again and again and again, and Mr. Floyd is the last person that has to be murdered at the hands of law enforcement. Mr. President, I'm going to yield the rest of my time to Senator Torres-Ray, who shares part of the district where Mr. Floyd was murdered with me.
Senator Torres-Ray.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members. George Floyd was killed by our society. He was killed by a law enforcement officer serving a system that is fundamentally racist and inhumane. George Floyd was not the first black person killed by a police officer in our state. But for the first time, we have compelling evidence in a video that has been viewed by millions of people around the world. Mr. Floyd was killed by a system that we have put in place to protect people in our society. But they did not view him as a full member of our community. Today, I am standing before you to say that I am no longer going to tolerate this, that we should not tolerate this. We have been notified by many people in our communities that have told us that they are no longer going to tolerate this. We are determined to make fundamental changes in our public safety and our criminal justice systems, and we need your support. But this is just the beginning. We will not tolerate an out-of-control police system of our streets that is killing and arresting our black and brown residents. And they have no fear of accountability. We will no longer tolerate the filling of jail facilities with black and brown bodies only to support county budgets. We will not tolerate any longer systems that label our black and brown children with special needs in order to have larger budgets and continue to have the largest disparities in our country. And they argue that our children cannot learn because they are poor. We will not tolerate public money promoting gentrification and displacement of black and brown families from our state, from our cities. We are full members of this society, and we are prepared to participate in this great democracy, to make absolutely sure that our voices are heard. Either you help us make these changes that are necessary to ensure our full participation, or you will be swept out of the way by the forces of history that are unstoppable. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members.
Senator Hayden.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'd now ask for a moment of silence in honoring George Floyd.
Members, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you, members. Members, any other announcements of Senate interest? Senator Gazelka.
Mr. President and members and Senator Hayden, Senator Torres Ray, Senator Bobby Joe Champion, we're not going to waste this moment. In the next week, we're not going to waste this moment. And one of the things that I am sure of is that we're going to pass some measures related to police accountability. The fact that we're doing that in for the Senate, a pretty fast fashion, I think is important as a step of commitment that will be moving forward within the Senate here. And I hope that you will help me in some of the things that we think should be done related to education reform in inner city Minneapolis-St. Paul, because that is another major area that it's like enough is enough. If we keep doing the same things, we're going to keep getting the same results, and we've got to be willing there as well to take some chances. And so I'm asking for all of you to help us. And so next week when we come together, we're going to start on Monday, and I hope that we can get back to these bills. If we have to, we'll get to Tuesday. That would be our third reading. If anybody in here knows that, the public doesn't. And then we'll run through all the bills. But we have an opportunity to do more good things. And I believe the death of George Floyd will be a catalyst to do some good things next week. So, members, with that, Mr. President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until Monday, June 15th at 12 noon.
Senator Gazelka moves that the Senate do now adjourn until Monday, June 15th, 2020 at 12 noon. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is adjourned.